eBay has been making a lot of changes in recent years. Do these changes mean that eBay is becoming more like Amazon? And if so, does that mean that eBay is now a better option for Amazon sellers? Keep watching to find out. Today on E-Commerce Heroes, I'll be talking to Cardi Chung about whether eBay's recent changes have made it a more attractive marketplace and how it now compares to Amazon. Cardi has 13 years experience in online retail and is the founder of Street Pricer, a repricing, competitor analysis and price monitoring tool for eBay sellers. This month's video sponsor is Wunderlister, an affordable eBay listing tool that makes a great replacement for TurboLister. So Cardi, eBay has done a lot of work over the years to make its listing data more structured. How have these changes helped sellers?
There are benefits to the product identifiers. Number one, it saves you time, because with structured data, it is really easy and there is much less effort when you want to list an item, because all you have to do is to supply the product identifier like the UPC, and once you've got the UPC, all the product information is there, like the title, description, product specifications, reviews. It's really easy. And number two, it increases your visibility from the search engine's point of view. So it brings buyers to you. So they're fantastic. However, there is a downside, because all of a sudden, your product is exactly the same as the other seller's products. So your pricing have to be spot on, because people buy on price, and we know that.
And what about group similar listings? How do you see that impacting sellers?
I think it's going to be tremendous pressure on price, because with the group similar listings, once you're in that group, if you want to sell, your price have to be, like, if not the cheapest, it have to be amongst the cheapest. So it is going to be a lot of pressure on margin. It will bring you the opportunity, but whether you can convert or not depends on your price ultimately.
And what about advertising? eBay introduced their promoted listings function in June 2016. What sort of sellers can benefit from that?
Oh, those promoted listings, they work. We can see it from our data. So it is definitely worth it. Those extra couple of percentage points that you give to eBay, I would pay that any time of the day. The only thing is that it only works if you have the extra margin to play with. So it would only benefit the sellers who have the margin to play with.
So if your search ranking on eBay was poor and you use promoted listings, what sort of impact can that have?
It will bump up your best match ranking immediately to the point that you would start scoring. So it is a fantastic tool. I see that, in a lot of the sellers, after doing the promoted listings, their sales just shoot up exponentially.
And what's been happening with product reviews over the last year? Does the fact that reviews are getting stronger now mean that eBay is a suitable marketplace for more sellers?
I think so, because we read product reviews before we buy. It's just how it works. So having that those product reviews as an integral part of eBay, it's a good thing, because it increases conversion. And I think I can see, more importantly, it engages buyers, because they're going to spend more time on eBay, which is a good thing.
And private label products are obviously quite prevalent on Amazon, but do you think, as a way to get away from having your listing grouped through group similar listings and to make the most of the stronger review system, we'll see more people private labeling on eBay?
It has been happening already for quite a while. So private labeling, it certainly works. I've seen some very successful sellers on eBay. They do their own private labeling. It is fantastic. It is a long haul game to play. You have to invest a lot more in your product research and the product marketing and the packaging. It is worth it, but it's going to take a lot of effort, but if you can do it right, the results are there.
So if I'm an eBay seller and I'm looking at all the changes that are going on and I'm noticing that the person-to-person feel is starting to move away and it's becoming a much more professional environment, what products should I be looking to sell to make the most of these new conditions?
I would still think that, because nowadays people they're so used to going onto the search box and typing a couple of keywords and then just hit the submit button. So I think you've got to be selling something that is clearly definable. So I think, for example, those arts and crafts items, I feel sorry for them, because like for the same art and craft item, you can call it this or you can call it that. You ask 10 people, what would you call it? You probably get 11 answers. So those products are not suitable, to be sold on eBay at all. However, if you're selling something that is clearly branded, it's got a brand and a model, like my favorite GoPro, Hero 5, that would be, easy. Like a Chanel number 5, fragrance will be easy.
So from what we've discussed so far, it seems that eBay has addressed a lot of the problems that have put sellers off in the past. So compared to Amazon, what else do you think eBay can offer sellers?
I see 3 advantages. Number 1, eBay is a lower cost environment. As a buyer, I love buying on eBay more so than on Amazon, because if you look for an item, the same item is always cheaper, or slightly cheaper, a couple of percentage points on eBay comparing to on Amazon, because the eBay fees are lower. So I think sellers should definitely use it as an advantage to compete, because you're not just competing amongst sellers on eBay, you're also competing amongst sellers from Amazon and from other marketplaces. So being a lower cost environment it's good. That's number 1. Number 2, it is a more flexible platform to run your business. It is much less rigid than Amazon, and you can make more decisions about your business if you're selling on eBay. Amazon everything has to be the Amazon way. You do it their way. Finally, number 3, I see that it is easier to build your brand on eBay, because with Amazon, when I buy from Amazon, I almost forget about who was a seller, who sold it to me in the first place. It doesn't really matter. I don't see it. But on eBay, you always buy from that seller on eBay. That's the difference. Because with Amazon, you buy from Amazon. With eBay, you buy from that seller on eBay, which means that there is an opportunity to build your brand.
And if we look at the differences between Amazon and eBay as marketplaces, how much difference does it make that eBay isn't a retailer?
I would feel a lot more comfortable. The fact that eBay is a platform and eBay itself is not a retailer, because I would be always be extra cautious about putting stuff on Amazon, because they see my sales history, and what if I sell, I start selling 50 a month, and then 3 months later, guess what? Amazon starts selling that particular item themselves. So I wouldn't want that.
So Cardi, throwing things forward, eBay's obviously done a lot of good work to get to the point where it's at. But in your opinion, is there anything else that needs changing?
I think eBay certainly realizes that they need to catch up to Amazon. I think they just have to do their own SWOT analysis and understand, what they are and what they're not. They are not an infrastructure provider. Amazon is. They've got AWS. They've got their fulfillment centers. So that is something clearly eBay is not. And I see eBay is more like a decentralized model comparing to Amazon. I think they should certainly turn it into their advantage. If I was eBay, that's where I would be looking.
Well, Cardi, thank you very much for joining me. I'm afraid that's all we've got time for today. I'd like to say a big thank you to this month's video sponsor, Wunderlister, an affordable eBay listing tool that makes a great replacement for TurboLister. All that's left to say is thank you to everyone for watching, and we'll see you again for another episode of E-Commerce Heroes here at Web Retailer.